Sixth line, pull up a chair, my friend. We need to have a conversation because I know you're thinking, I'm behind. You're thinking that you're not doing something right. How does a 25-year-old have it all figured out? And you're sitting here at 45 going, what the hell am I doing with my life? You're not behind. Okay. This sixth line energy, there's a lot to unpack here. And in this episode, I'm going to dive into the shadow and how to use the higher frequencies of this energy to help you understand why you feel like things like aren't working, why you can't articulate things when you want to articulate things. Why does it always feel like someone else has it figured out and you don't? And this episode is going to explain it all. Welcome. I'm Rachael, and I teach soul-led entrepreneurs the arts and energy of messaging that actually sells by aligning with your human design. And inside of Magnetic Messaging Club, my clients learn all about how to write in a way that really feels like them, that's clear, grounded, powerful, without watering down their genius, right? And doing it in a way that is completely different than what everything is being taught out there right now. So if you want to learn more about that, check out the link below. But let's get into the sixth line and the mechanics of it, because there's a lot. There's a lot going on with the sixth line. If you are a sixth line, you probably know that you have 3 phases to life. We have the first phase, the experimenter, 0 to 30, before you hit your Saturn return, where life feels really messy, where this is honestly where your stories come from. Nothing feels solid. Identity is trial and error. Life just feels like you have to figure it out for yourself, right? I remember growing up and being so frustrated. My mom would try and tell me what to do, and I hated it. 1, I'm a Manny-gen, but 2, also, I think it's the sixth line in that third phase, that first phase of wanting to get your hands in the clay, wanting to figure it out for yourself, not having someone tell you right or wrong or do this or do that, but you really want to figure it out for yourself. That is the whole point and the beauty of that first 30 years. You're an experimenter. Okay. The second phase is the observer, where you go on the roof, where that wisdom starts to form. Your clarity emerges from all these different patterns and experiences that you've had, where you refine what actually works and where things start to stabilize. And I will say they do stabilize. It doesn't feel as like chaotic as maybe the first 30 years felt. In the final phase, the 50 plus, is where embodiment leads, where you really don't care what other people think, where you become that role model and just showing up as yourself. You don't give a rat's ass what anyone thinks anymore. You are just you. There's no space for anything else, where your teaching shifts into modeling and being. The thing that I've noticed, though, with a lot of sixth lines is you're not allowing yourself to be in the stage that you're in, right? Like maybe it's, I know I felt, still a little bit feel like I'm somehow behind. I'm somehow not where I'm supposed to be, but I am. Like there are phases in life. You're not going to have things all figured out in your 20s. Honestly, I don't know who does, but my mind likes to tell me that there are people. You're not giving yourself space to integrate in that second phase. You're not pulling away. You're not going and doing that work, that inner work of understanding, what did that shitty experience 10 years ago really teach you? When you're not integrating, those past experiences are still living in your body. You're still thinking about them in some form, even if you're not consciously aware of it. And they're still dictating what's going on. So we need to go back to those stories and really integrate them, understand them, learn the lesson so that you can take what worked, what was good forward, and leave whatever else is behind, right? So let's jump into the shadow and how this really holds you back, because I think this is going to be really eye-opening for you. I know that when I started to see the shadow of the sixth line and how it was playing a role in my own life, it helped just bring more conscious awareness to it so that I could shift out of it, not do those patterns, not do those things and be like, oh, well, this is just the shadow of the sixth line. I can make a different choice. So number one, like I've touched on, I think, or I should have it all figured out right now. That pressure, right? That somehow you're missing something, that somehow it should be better than it is. No. That pressure is your own internal pressure. I realized, I think it was in my late 30s, I realized how much pressure I put on myself, and it was all me. It was not anyone else. It wasn't my husband, it wasn't my mother, it wasn't my friends, it wasn't my peer group, none of it. It was all internal pressure on myself of, I need to be doing this. I should be here. I should be doing better. Da, 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 da. And all it did was create a nervous system that was cracking under that pressure. Pressure is good. Pressure creates diamonds. But it also, if you aren't solid in why you're applying that pressure, where that pressure is coming from, it can ultimately crack you and make you feel like you're not enough. And that's what it was doing. Because I didn't have it figured out, I wasn't enough. And that's not the truth. So the second thing is waiting for perfection before you speak. I know a lot of six lines they're searching for that clarity, right? They're like, I just need the clarity before I can speak. Help me with my messaging, get it all clear, then I can speak. I have to be the bearer of bad news. You're going to have to figure it out as you go. I'm still figuring out my own message. This last year has been a wild ride in figuring out, what am I doing? Like, everything has shifted, and I have had to take a really hard look at what I'm doing, the message I'm putting out there. What is my why? Who do I want to work with? All of those things. It has shifted and changed. It's never going to be perfect. It is always an evolution. The third line, trial and error, even into the second phase of integration. I've learned so much more than I'm a totally different person than I was a year ago. That needs to be incorporated into the message, right? So staying silent, creating in a silo, isn't going to help you find that clarity. You have to take the steps. You have to start speaking to find the clarity out of the chaos. The third one is believing that your lived experiences aren't valuable enough. How many of you have felt like, I didn't have a total dumpster dive of dumpster fire, I should say, of a life. So therefore, my experience is kind of null and void. I don't have one of those rags to riches stories. What am I even sharing? Who even cares? I'm playing your own lived experience, even though I have learned and lived so much. I have so much knowledge, so much I can share, so much experience. And I downplay that because it's not pretty, and it's not the big bang, hero story. But all those micro moments can help other people too. This is why I love AI, because AI you can ask it questions like, AI, help me come up with stories from my lived experience to help explain the work that I do, and ask me questions that will help draw these stories out because I can't see them. I forget about them. Ask me questions to help jog my memory or things like that. And it can help you pull out these stories that your brain is hiding from you because you don't think that they're more important enough. They are. The fourth thing is hiding your messy middle. And to be honest, this one I still struggle with because I don't want to tell people I'm messy right now. Maybe a close bestie, I might tell I'm having a hard time, but I want to hide that fact, right? I want to make it look like I have everything together, even when I don't. It's still going back to I should have it all figured out. Hiding that messy middle means that you're not being totally honest with yourself, even that you are in the messy middle. This last year has been a messy middle, and I am just now coming out of that messy and feeling like, okay, these were the lessons. These were the tangible, sink my teeth into, oh shit, yeah, that's the identity I don't want anymore. And here's the identity I do want, right? But sharing, and I will be totally honest, I'm not great at this. And I try to at least talk to the people that I can trust, my husband, besties, the people that I can trust with this messy middle that I am not feeling great right now, that can help reflect back, give me that safe space. You don't have to blast it out on the internet unless you want to, but you don't have to. It's just understanding that there's messy middle parts to this. Okay. Number 5, disconnecting from your own lived transformation, meaning you feel like you're failing. You're not where you're supposed to be yet. So therefore it null and voids all the rest of it. No. We're always becoming someone new. We're always learning and growing. And that doesn't negate everything that you're living right now. The sixth one is being too big in the big picture and not grounded enough. I know that I can be a really big picture. I love the big picture. I love dreaming. I love getting like, oh, what if we did this? And then I start to get bogged down in the day-to-day doing of things. But it's both and. It's like seeing the forest through the trees. It's keeping that big vision, not getting too airy-fairy, grounding it, and knowing when you need to be big visionary and when you need to be doing the work. Okay, let's talk about being in your power, because I know that sometimes it can feel like you're never going to get there, and you will. I just want to say that. So how can we be in our power? How can we be in the sixth line so that our message, the thing we're here to say, comes through in a really clean and clear, audible, like powerful way? When you are in your power, you're speaking from integration and not completion, meaning you are integrated and embodied in the lesson that you've learned. I couldn't necessarily talk about something I'm not integrated in yet. I could talk about it, but more from an etherical. I am figuring this out. I'm not embodied in it. But if I'm teaching, if I am showing up saying, this is my truth, I have to be integrated, right? Can't be in that messy middle. It has to be fully integrated. And that's where the role model comes in. By the time you get to the role model, those lessons are integrated. They are embodied. You are just who you are, right? You don't have to be done to be there, but with each little piece, it's like a puzzle all coming together. Does that make sense? Letting your lived experience be the authority. This one, oh my gosh. When I understood this, it made so much sense why I struggle with story, why I struggle to share my lived experience, because it felt like, again, my story didn't matter, but the story it's not about the story. It's really the framework, and it's the piece that kind of glues people into what you're doing. It's how people trust you, yes, but it allows you to share from a place that you're not talking at people. You're just here saying, this is my lived experience. Here's what I've done. Here's what I learned. Here's what worked and what didn't work. Like kind of third line aspects, but using it as a framework. And again, being fully embodied in it. The third powerful way is sharing those patterns and observations, the themes that other people are missing. Your content can even say things like, I'm noticing this about, when I'm with clients, or this keeps coming up with my clients. This phase with a story, this experience taught me blah, right? This is how you bring out that wisdom of what you have lived and embodied. The fourth powerful way is allowing softness and humanity in your leadership. You are a leader. I know that one felt like, ooh, really? I am. Especially when I feel so much like I'm still 25 and don't have things figured out. How can I be a leader? But then you really sit and think like, holy crap, I've lived a life. I've lived a lot. People don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be yourself, grounded in your marketing, meaning you're not out here trying to be a more professional version or a more polished version or someone who's funny and witty when you're really not that funny and witty, or we need you to be you. The more that you are you, the more the sixth line, like effervescent qualities come out. The more that you are you, the more that you will attract. That stands for everything, but 100% for the six lines. And the fifth one is being in it in the long game. Can't tell you how many coaches I have had come into my communities and want instant success. And instant by meaning it's been 6 months. I'm still struggling to get clients. Yep, a lot of people are. Doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong. It doesn't mean that you need more clarity or that it doesn't mean that something's wrong. It means that you are learning what you like, learning how you want to coach, learning the problems that you solve and the solutions that you provide, learning how to be a really amazing coach or a really amazing healer. There's nothing wrong because it didn't happen immediately. That was a really tough one for me to learn. There's nothing wrong. Quit making problems, Rachael. I'm in it for the long game. Like I am here. And this is why it's so important to know your why. Why are you doing this? What is this purpose, this calling that you have? Because that's what's going to solidify that this is the long game. I'm going to figure this out. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm just going to keep taking one step in front of the other, and lesson after lesson, I'm going to figure it out. And then the last one is choosing consistency in your presence and not productivity. I talk about this a lot, that I don't necessarily show up consistently. I show up when I am good and ready, when my energy says yes. When I don't, when I'm trying to be consistent for consistence sake, nothing like the content falls, no one's commenting. It's just meh. Versus when I'm like, ooh, I have something I need to say. I really want to share this, and just putting it out there. Can you even feel that energy shift? Like from this is me trying to be consistent and what do I need to write today, to holy shit, I need to share this. Oh my God, I want to talk about this. Such a different vibe. And that's what makes it magnetic. That's what draws people in. That's what makes people comment and DM and get in your world, is when you're in that energy. Okay. So don't force yourself to be consistent. There are seasons for it. I go through times where I am on all the time. I'm like, have so much to say. And then there are times that I step back and I'm like, actually, I'm feeling like I need a break. How can we do this in our messaging? I want to share a little bit about this before we get into how to use AI with your sixth line. But with your messaging, you're sharing what you're observing, patterns in clients, what you're observing clients coming to, what kind of questions they have, what are the breakthroughs are they having. Really put your lens on that of what you're seeing, along with your own lived experience, right? Your own business journey, your own healing journey, sharing those insights of like, gosh, I've really been through the ringer this last year, and here's what I'm learning, right? And I want you to normalize the phase that you're in. You don't need to be further along. This is where you're at, right? I am in the middle phase. I am integrating, and I could probably do a better job of even talking about that, of talking about I am in this integration phase. I'm learning everything, integrating it, learning how to be and not show up in whatever way the world says I need to show up in. I'm learning how to do that. I want you to reflect on your past experiences, right? AI can help you with that. We'll talk about it in a minute. But sharing and reflecting on your past experiences. I remember when the first time I launched, what happened. I remember the third time that I launched and what happened. Even I look back on all the different times that I've launched. That's in a whole story in itself. All the different times I've launched, what energy I was in, what I was selling, how it was going, what was going on in the world, and what that meant for the results that I got. Like that is a whole masterclass in itself. But picking out those little pieces of your lived experience and what you're noticing. Owning your evolution publicly. I could do a better job with this one too. Owning my evolution. This year it's the year of the snake. 2025 was the year of the snake. And shedding all the identity, all the beliefs, all the BS I was telling myself over the last couple of years of what made me successful, what made my business work. There was a lot of BS that had to clear out, and I resisted. I resisted a lot because I didn't honestly just felt like I thought I could force my way through this. I thought I could muscle my way through. That's what I've always done. This year taught me I can't do that. I can't. I need to come back to me. What is truly me? What is truly authentic to me? My truth. What am I here to really teach? Everything else is shifting around that. And I'm leaving all of the garbage in 2025. 2026, I'm so looking forward to you. You're the horse. Let's do it. Owning your evolution, truly being, like I said, don't share the messy if it feels uncomfortable. Like you can be the guide. There's a point of, is this uncomfortable because I just don't want to share it? Or is it uncomfortable because I'm not ready to share? There's a really big difference, and only you know that line. So really trusting yourself in when do you share and when do you not share? And stop waiting to be ready. Oh my God, stop waiting to be ready. Just, again, there's that line. Are you ready? Are you not ready? I bet you're ready for more than you think you are. You're ready to at least take that one little step, one little thing. You're ready for that because each step you take gets you ready for the big thing, vision out there that you have for your life. With AI, I love having conversation with the chat anymore. It's really quite scary. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but my chat's almost always spot on with, yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking and feeling. Thank you for articulating it. AI will help you pull out those stories, right? Help you structure those stories in a way that makes sense for your work. It'll help you organize all that wisdom and make it make sense with what you do. And you can think out loud with it, and it'll organize those ideas, talk about the big picture. What do you need to do in the little things? AI is brilliant with all of those things. And that's why I love using it. Here's a line that you could use. I'm a sixth line in human design. Help me express a recent realization or pattern I'm seeing in a way that sounds grounded, wise, and reflective. Not preachy or finished or perfect. And then share that, whatever that realization or pattern was, and have it write you some content. So we're not here to perform. We're not here to be anyone other than ourselves, but we have a lot of messy middle to work through to really truly own who we are. And that's the takeaway I want you to feel. There is messy middle. You are going to feel like you're behind, but ultimately it is about integrating those lessons and being your authentic self. If you want to do more of this work, we do it inside the club. Details below. I'd love to hear if you're a sixth line. Drop in the comments. I'm a sixth line. This resonated. This concludes the profile series. So glad that you're here, and I hope this was truly informative. And I love you. I'll see you next time.